All right, all right. So this is the last call of June. That means that we are like halfway through the year. So I know a lot of us set some big, hairy, scary goals. So I hope that you are laser focused on that, because this seems to be the time when people start to take their foot off the gas and start coasting. The great news is we have Summit coming up, and the most amazing thing, 2016 was a rough year for the network and for coaches, and I have the most of my personally sponsored coaches coming out of all the years I've been. So, and I've heard a lot of coaches saying that. So, we're bringing new people in, and like, it's so easy. I know myself to get real complacent with these events. But I remember that first summit that I went to, how excited I was. I remember last year when it was Robin and Kim's first summit, how excited they were. So I hope that you guys are bringing this excitement, even if you don't have any of your personally sponsored coaches coming, but you bring it on social media, because I'll tell you, in all the years of being a coach, that whenever we come back from events, people are watching. Coaches are watching, and they're like, man, I should be there. People have been watching you, something triggers, and they want to be part of it. And so make it fun, make it exciting, and, really take yourself back to why you got started. So before I pass it over to Audrey, I wanted to just do some announcement. First of all, we're at the end of the month, so now's the time to start following up big time with people that are, have been on the fence in the past, because we got half the year left, and a lot of them have forgotten what their goals are. I have been really just kind of trying to figure out where I am at in this business. I've been in this business for 5.5 years. And so really what got started in the beginning was my passion for fitness, and from going from hating fitness to loving fitness, and to all of a sudden having this confidence. I personally had gotten away from the transformation side, and I've overwhelmed a lot of people with the business. And I kept thinking, like, man, am I a shitty leader? Or like, what's going on? And I've done a lot of soul searching. I've taken a step back this month from everything to really just kind of revamp things, refine my way. And what I found was that, when I started my journey, it was just about fitness. And my coach, Becky, only concentrated on the fitness side. Even when I became a coach, she still made me focus on the fitness. And then everything just happened organically on their own. It wasn't forced. I wasn't in a million groups. I wasn't forced to get to Emerald or Diamond or any of these things. Those things are very important. But if you can't get somebody to get started on their journey and have a love for the product, not just a love for you, then they're not going to go anywhere. They're not going to have that confidence. They're not going to have that. So I wanted to just let you guys know what I am doing. This is only open to my personally sponsored coaches who need help getting back on track. But I kind of wanted to show you the format of what I'm doing that maybe you can create of your own, because I truly believe that I could give you all the information, but I want you to make it your own. Let me do a screen share real quick. I'm going to mute everybody. So what I did was I opened up a group. It's the No Jiggle in July Intro to Fitness. So basically what this is for my new challengers, and this is for my coaches who've fallen off track and just need to find the fun in fitness, and they need just some basic accountability. So I haven't approved anybody or added anybody yet, because I wanted to put this together first. But essentially what you have, I'll show you here, is I set up albums, because I remember, like, I was so overwhelmed with opening up my P90X box and everything, and like really all Becky said was follow the calendar and drink Shakeology, check into a group. So, I realized at the same time as well that life 5.5 years ago was a lot different, not just for me, but for other people. And there's so much stuff going on in people's head. If we can just simplify it, then it makes it easy. So I am focusing on, for my challengers and people, to, like, obviously we'd like them to work out 6 days a week, but come on, when you're just starting off, that doesn't always happen. So I'm getting them to set goals. And so what I did is I created a calendar. I don't know what happened. I don't know where all those lines are for, but I created a calendar, and I can share this graphic with anybody who wants to emulate it, but it's let's get started. So I have different levels. Like the first level is 10-minute trainer. The second level is UV2. Third is 3-week yoga retreat, country heat, PIO, P90. I did a mashup, and then the Sean T week, or Sean week. So basically what their first step is that they're going to pick we're only going to focus on 1 week. And I kind of got this idea from Sean week, because people, like, when they just thought 7 days ahead, they crushed their goals and big things happen. And I remember that's all I was thinking about, like, just skip through for 1 week of P90X and then week 2, and that was it. And so that is the basic, is that they're just going to pick a calendar that fits them. And I always tell them, I've been telling all my people, that the basis is I want you to try something for a week, because you can't tell me you don't like it after one day. Like, we all drank a beer, we had sex, did something we didn't like and tried it more than once, and we ended up liking it. So same thing with a program. And I figure that, like, 7 days is a good, marker to see if they actually do like it. So the second step is record the before and afters. I talk about why that's important. I understand that they don't want to do it. I share how to do your measurements. Then the week 3 is goals, just writing out goals for that week. And the goals, I'm having them set goals that are not tied to weight loss or like a pant size, but they're big goals, like working out for 3 days a week or something, because I'm wanting them to just focus on some progress of, like, confidence that they can get through a week, because we know that if they do these things, you're going to lose weight. But if you become fixated on weight or inches or a number, it can seem daunting, and, like, you can drive yourself crazy. Your cortisol levels are going to go up when you're stressed. That's going to, inhibit your weight loss. So I'm getting them to focus on 1 week goals. So I just have it in there for week 1. I give them set 4, log into Beachbody On Demand. 5 is commit to drinking Shakeology 30 days out of the month, and then the nutrition. And what I use is the UV2 nutrition thing. It's like page 3 or 4 or something, and I just screenshot that and use that, where it's basically like very simple steps, and then I uploaded to the file section UV2 7-day meal plan. So I haven't added anybody to it, but what my next step is doing a video with Zoom, like a share screen, to show people how to walk through, because a lot of people, like, we know groups like the back of our hand because we've been running groups forever, but most people don't. Most people get on Facebook to keep up with family, play games, whatever, like stalk people. They don't understand how this works. They're doing a video. So anyways, I hope that helped. This is open to my PS coaches who are falling off track. This is also open to all of my challengers or previous challengers who've fallen off track and want to get started. So that's it. So anyways, okay. So Audrey is our speaker. I met Audrey through Monica Lopez, who's part of Diesel Nation. They're success partners, and I've heard amazing things about Audrey. I watched her on social media. She is a wife, a mom of 2. She's part of the New York Market Council. She is a 7-star in her first business center, 5-star in her second business center, and 1-star qualifying in her third. She has hit 56 months in Success Club, and she's here to talk to you about the business owner mindset, that whenever you're really wanting to pursue this, you got to switch it over from employee to business owner. So I'm going to turn it over to her and mute myself.
Hey guys, Mindy, thank you so much for having me on. Mindy was on my team call a couple of weeks ago, and she completely killed it. And now I have to live up to that with your team. So I hope I do a good job. All right, guys. So, Mindy hit me up a little while ago, and she asked me for my stats. And it seems really impressive, right? Like, wow, like some of us are just trying to get to emerald, get to diamond, much less do all of that. And I've also been elite. This is my 3rd year as an elite coach. And I'm not saying this to brag. I'm saying this because I'm proud of myself. And proud of myself, not because it's something that I can achieve, that you can achieve, but exactly the opposite. Everything I've done with my business is something that you can do as well, no matter your circumstances and no matter what's going on in your life right now. So that being said, I want to tell you guys a little bit about my story. Since you guys don't know me from a hole in the wall, probably, you guys need to know that anything is possible for you. So my story is a little different from probably most Team Beachbody coaches, but that's what makes the network so beautiful, that anybody could be successful. I started as a coach 4.5 years ago. My oldest son was 2 years old. My youngest had just turned 6 months old, and I had 2 C-sections. I felt squishy. I wasn't happy with myself. And I posted something about wanting to join a gym when my coach reached out to me and invited me to her challenge group. And I thought to myself, who am I kidding? I'm never going to join a gym. I need to just do this thing, because I had been following her for a while. And I would just roll my eyes at it. Like, I'm going to eat a cheeseburger when I want to eat a cheeseburger. And I don't need that Kool-Aid stuff. Shakeology to me was like drinking the Kool-Aid. I don't need that stuff. But something about her invitation in my inbox made me open my eyes and say, Audrey, who are you kidding? If you actually want to change, you have to go ahead and do it. So I said to her, okay, fine, I'm in. And at that time, my husband and I were living paycheck to paycheck. And I thought to myself, okay, that challenge pack, I started with Chalene Extreme. It was a $180 challenge pack. And it was expensive enough to make me commit to it if I bought it, but cheap enough that I could put it on, yet another thing, on the credit card and not really have to worry about it just yet. So I did, and I signed up, and within the first week I was down 5 pounds. My first month I was down 10 pounds, and I was just sharing it on social media. And what was happening was that everybody was contacting me like, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? I kept like a dummy, sending them to my coach, and I would watch them sign up with her. And then I thought to myself, like, Audrey, this is the opportunity that you were asking God for. Why don't you just jump in? Because I had all these misconceptions, like, I can't do that. I can't sell. It's not me. I'm not in the best shape yet. I was only 1 month in through my 3-month challenge group. But I said, you know what? I'm just going to jump in and I'm going to do it. So I signed up 1 month in, right before my second Shakeology shipped. And that week, even though I was really thinking that I was going to be mostly a discount coach, I found out that my husband lost his job. And my husband and I were living paycheck to paycheck, 2 little boys, and all of a sudden he loses his job, and it's all on me. Now, I'm going to take it even back about where I came from. My parents came to this country from the Dominican Republic when they were 15 years old. They grew up in a really rural area of the Dominican Republic. So they came here and they had nothing. My father started out as a busboy. My mom started out working in a factory. When they got married, they only had $1,000 between them, and my aunt and uncle had to give them the spare bedroom to live in. When I was little, I never saw my parents. One of my dad's older cousins lent him money so he and his 2 other brothers could start their own supermarket. So basically what would happen was that my aunt would take care of me while my mom and dad would be in the store until 6 a.m. until about 10 p.m. at night. I never saw them. And growing up, I always said to myself that, my life was going to be different. I was going to be there for my kids. I was going to be able to go to their school plays because my kids weren't there. My parents weren't there for me. I was going to be able to pick them up and go on the field trips. You know how parents can volunteer on the field trips? My parents were never there. And I wanted to do that for my kids. But something happened, guys. I remember like yesterday, my dad's first day off when I was 12 years old. He took a Sunday off. And for me, it was like Christmas to have my dad home. My parents my mom got pregnant with my twin brothers, and that's when she started staying home. And let me tell you guys something. I never saw my parents when I was little, but after that moment, when my dad started to take time off and my mom was able to stay home with the kids, we were on family vacations all the time. Why? Because my parents were able to pay off that store, because my parents, by the time that I was during that age, we moved to $1 million house. And again, I'm not saying this to brag. I'm talking about the work ethic that my parents consistently put in, sacrificing time with themselves, money, because my mom's entire paycheck went, after my aunt stopped taking care of us, went into the lady that they hired to take care of us, while my dad's paycheck went to all the bills. So they sacrificed time with us. They sacrificed time with each other. They sacrificed their own time in order to be able to build something for us. It got to the point, guys, that when I never needed a job in high school, even in college, I never had jobs. I can focus on internships. When I got to college, I was, by the grace of God, got accepted into Parsons School of Design, which is one of the leading art schools in the country. And my dad took me to register, and I got offered student loans because I was a straight A student. I got offered scholarships. He said to me, take the scholarships, but deny the student loans, because my inheritance to you is this college education, so that you can take your life and your education further than I ever could. So all of a sudden, I had this huge obligation on me, and they taught me my work ethic. In high school, I remember my friends used to go out partying and all that stuff that kids do. I would spend it at home studying. because I wanted to be a straight A student. In college, I was on the dean's list and all of that because I was able to see what work ethic does, what hard work puts in. I never believed that it's this natural born talent that gets you to places. It's the amount of work that you put in. So fast forward, I come into this business and I see that I'm successful on social media because I had all these people asking me what I was doing. So I heard of this, my upline star diamond coach is Saudi Almonte. And I heard of her at that time when I started. She had just quit her job in the education department to do this Beachbody thing full time. And I thought to myself, so if she can do it, why can't I do it? At this moment that my family needs me, why can't I do it? And let me paint a picture to you guys about what my life was like at that time. So I used to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, not to work out like I do now, but to pump for my baby. My baby was still sleeping at that time, and I would pump, leave the milk, drive about an hour to our family business, which is where I work, drive about an hour to the business, be over there to open the supermarket at 7 o'clock in the morning. I would spend the whole day there. I would then spend the hour on the drive home speaking to prospects on the phone. Then I would come home, and that's when I would press play to my workout with the kids there. And if you go way back on my social media, you still see, like I bet a bunch of you do, workouts where you have your kids on top of you, right? Kids in the exerciser, and I'm planking, and my kids on my back while I'm trying to do push-ups. That's how my life was. And then it was dinner, it was bath time, it was spending time with my husband, and then it was bedtime, and my kids wouldn't go to bed unless I was there in the room with them. And they would fall, I would have to lay there and I would fall asleep with them. So I would set an alarm on my phone to then get up at 9 o'clock. They would be asleep by then, and go to the kitchen and work my Beachbody business in the kitchen table. And I would do that until midnight. And then 5 o'clock in the morning the next day, I would get up and do it again. And I would do it again. And I would do it again. And let me tell you guys something. I didn't have any kind of advantages because my upline lived in Florida. I'm in New York. So I wasn't even connected to her in that way. I was placed on an inside leg. But none of those things ever held me back because I saw what was possible for my parents. And there is something that I live by even today. 4.5 years later, I'm a 6-figure earner. I have multiple diamonds. I've been able to build this business. But the reason I've been able to build this business is because I set a very high bar for myself every single day. The 4 vital behaviors, those are just the minimum. They're not optional. Every day of the week, they are a requirement. The reason that most coaches fail in this business is because they do not have the consistency they need in order to make this happen. Anybody can make this business happen. If it's not happening for you, you are missing one of the 4 vital behaviors. It's without a doubt. There's something you are not doing. And it's funny because I usually have a lot of coaches that tell me that they are doing everything. Yeah, like, I'm inviting, I'm doing my PD. Yes, I'm working out every day. Months later, they'll come to me and they'll admit, like, I wasn't really inviting. I wasn't building relationships like I should. I wasn't working out. There it is, guys. There it is. That's what's going on with your business. So I want you guys to set a bar for yourselves every day. And then the next day, never go below it. Hold yourself accountable to that. Because the secret to this, like one of the secrets to this business is being able to lead a team. You will never be able to lead a team and be successful if you are not that role model for your team. You're supposed to outwork them in all of the 4 vital behaviors. There's mornings that I don't want to wake up. My life looks very different right now because of the income that I've been able to build, the success I've had, thanks to God, with this business. So now when I wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, it's because I do my workout at that time because I don't want my kids planking on me when I'm trying to like do Sean Week, you know? So I wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning and sometimes I don't want to. It's the last thing I want to do. But I think about everybody that's looking up to me as an example and I can't let them down. I just can't. I take that so personally. And when I do my personal development, I'm not even thinking about myself so much, but it's for my team. How can you guys pour out to anybody else if you're not pouring into yourselves? You just can't. You can't. And I know life gets in the way. I have coaches inbox me every single day about struggles and frustrations that they have in their personal lives. We all do. Raise your hand if you don't have some issue going on in your life right now that you wish you didn't have. Raise your hand if you don't. I know you do. We all do. When I started in this business, my husband and I were going through so many financial issues. And you guys know that finances are one of the main causes of problems in a marriage. And so we were dealing with all of that as well. Like, we were hardly talking during that time. And I thought to myself, you know, especially after doing personal developments, I was pressing play to Chalene Extreme. And anyone that listens to Chalene can't be depressed or in a victim mentality. So I said exactly that to myself. I can either be a conqueror or I can be a victim. And I chose to be a conqueror, because another key element to being successful in this business is choosing your mindset. Are you going to complain that life is happening to you, that your marriage isn't where it's supposed to be, that your kids don't let you do anything, that your career, that your boss this, or that your team this, or that everyone's saying no to you? That's a mindset. You choose to let those things bother you. Or you can choose to say, you know what? This might not be the ideal situation right now, but I can overcome it. I can learn how to manage my time better. I can learn better business skills that are going to help me speak to people better or improve my social media. You can do so many things if you have your mindset to getting it done. So you guys are going to set that bar high for yourselves every single day. No slacking. Like I said, it's a decision. It's a choice. You're not going to let yourself down, and you're not going to let your team down, no matter what. This business is not a feeling. You show up to work every day, probably hating your job. So don't show up to this one that can leave you a legacy for your family, that can give you freedom. I remember going to work, and remember, it's an hour away, and it's my family business. I remember going to work during snowstorms when I was 6 or 7 months pregnant. I'm in that store on Thanksgiving and on Christmas because it's a supermarket. So what days do people shop the most? On Thanksgiving, Christmas, right? Because you have those big dinners. I can't ask an employee to go to work for me and not be there. So why do you compromise your own business with that same mentality? I'm there whether I want to be or not, because I am a business owner. I show up to my business every single day. I don't compromise that. If you want the successes of this business, you can't compromise the work that you have to put in every day. And the work that you put in every day, there's seeds that you're planting. And remember, I'm an inside leg. So for me to be a 6-figure earner, you better believe that took a long time. You better believe that I put in work every single day to make that happen. That just doesn't happen. It's not that I'm lucky. It's that I put in the work to make it happen every day. So those snowstorms in which I went to work, pregnant, not having a choice because I show up to this business, that's the same thing I tell myself in this business now when my kids are sick. The other day I had both of my kids sick with fevers, and I still had a team to lead. I still had to hit Success Club myself. I still have to do my personal development and keep building relationships and keep all my social media going. I still have an inbox of people that don't know the stuff that I'm going through, but I still have to show face, right? Because when you say you want something, you don't get wishy-washy the second that something gets hard. You step up. And that's why we do so much personal development, because it teaches us how to manage our time. It teaches us how to stay strong mentally. And I'm sure I speak for Mindy also when I say that the higher you get in this business, that's probably when you do the most personal development. Because imagine going through stuff in your personal life, still going through the 4 vital behaviors, and then having a whole team of people inboxing you because they look up to you to help them in their life. How do you manage all of that? You manage all of that by setting that bar high every single day and never going below it, no matter what happens. And being frustrated, being depressed, being overwhelmed, those are all choices we chose to make. And the way, when you get frustrated in your business, as we all do, give yourself a day, and then the next day you jump right in. We all need a day to do nothing. You still show up. I still do my 4 vital behaviors, but you see that I'll take the night off. But I make sure that I still do what I need to do. And I jump right back in. I know that this business gets hard. And when you have jobs and you have family, sometimes this is the last thing that you feel like deserves your attention. But this is the only thing that's going to give you the freedom that you need. I want to tell you a little bit about the successes that this business has given me now that I've told you some of the hardships that I've gone through. My husband has an eye disease called keratoconus, and it's going to increasingly get worse. But the only way to fix it is this surgery that the FDA hasn't approved. If the FDA hasn't approved it, that means it's not covered by insurance. He needed a surgery to get operated. And when you're living paycheck to paycheck like we were back then, it kind of sucks when you have to choose between groceries, buying clothes for your kids because their clothes don't fit anymore, and you have to wait till you get paid next time in order to buy those clothes, and a surgery for your husband to save his eyesight. That goes on the back burner when you have a family, right? Well, because I hustled to get my business to 2-star diamond, with my first star diamond bonus and my commissions for that week, I was able to pay for my husband's eye disease cash for one of his eyes at that time. I remember that I was the person, guys, we were over $12,000 in credit card debt, paycheck to paycheck, all of that. He was without a job. I remember I used to go to Disney.com and I would build a family vacation to Disney for a couple of days for my kids because my oldest was asking for it already. And when it would get time to pay for the package, I would cry because I'm like, okay, so this is thousands of dollars and this does not include airfare down to Florida. And I would then close out the tab and think where did I fail as a mother that I can't provide this for my kids when they're asking for it? And last August, for my son's 6th birthday, we were able to book a 4-day cruise on the Disney Dream, followed by a 3-day stay at Disney's Animal Kingdom. Completely paid in cash because of this business. Now, remember, listen to how I've hustled. Listen to how I've hustled. There is not one day that I miss any of the 4 vital behaviors. I got a notification from Facebook this week, actually, that in May I added 100 new friends on Facebook. And I calculated it, and I'm like, that's 3 people a day. I can do more. I can do more. And you can do more. You absolutely can do more if you believe in yourself and you stop with the excuses. Instead of looking at people, because we tend to compare in this business. Look at so-and-so. They started after me and look at everything that they're doing. Why do you look at everything that you're not? And why don't you look at everything that you can do? Don't look at the things that you're sacrificing as something that you're giving up and poor me. Look at everything that you're sacrificing as I'm giving this up and I'm going to get so much more later. You can sleep later. You can rest later. You can binge on some Netflix show later. But until your business is where you would like it to be, until you're providing for your family the things that you would like to provide, you don't get a break. You just don't. You don't deserve it yet. And it's not even you, it's your family. Every time that you're tired, every time that you don't want to send out another invite, any other time that you're too lazy to do another workout, I want you to ask yourself, what does your family deserve? Not even you. What's your why again? Go back to your why. Does your why deserve for you to take a day off and get lazy? And I firmly believe in doing gut checks. If you know that at the end of the day, you did the best you could, then fine. You're done. Tomorrow's another day. It's another day for you to get better. But if at the end of the day, you're honest with yourself and you think to yourself, you know what? I could have sent one more invitation. I could have reached out to one more person. I could have done 5 more pages of that personal development book. Then you can't go to bed until you get that done. And then you have no right to compare yourself to anybody else in this business unless at the end of the day, you're able to say, I did the best I could. That's it. And I never, ever want you to look at like your coach, anybody else, and think they didn't do this for me or they're not doing enough for me. Because it's like Eric Worre says in GoPro, if you're successful in this business, you're the one that built that success. Nobody else. If you failed at this business, you're the one that failed at this business. Nobody else. Although I came into a team and was given, yes, GoPro. Although I came into a team, was given the training, was told what to do every day, it's basically on me if I did those things every single day. Because the secret to the business is really just the 4 vital behaviors. There's nothing else. There really is nothing else. At the end of the day, are you checking those 4 things off? If you're able to do all those things every single day, your business is going to grow. So respect yourself. If you're in this business, you're a coach and you're spending this Tuesday night on this call, it's because you want to build the business. So respect yourself enough to be honest with yourself that you're actually doing these things every day. And number 2, respect the business enough to give it the time to let it grow. Because remember, my parents, the actual brick and mortar store, they started when I was a baby practically. And my dad didn't take his first day off until I was 12 years old. So if you guys look at a business like that, logically, you know that that takes time in order to see a return on your investment. This business is no different. We're all scared of this get-rich-quick schemes. So why do you guys expect to be earning a 6-figure income 6 months into your business, a year into your business? It took me a little over 2 years. But because my why was big, I felt that that was even early. Because my why was so big, I needed to provide for my kids when my husband didn't have a job. You know, so you have to respect yourself and give it all you've got into this business. You need to respect the business and give it the time it takes in order to grow. Nothing happens overnight. I always tell my team, like, you don't go into college to be a doctor or a lawyer and expect to get paid that when you're starting. No, you know, you put in the time and you know that you have to then go out there and work to build that kind of income. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. So that's about it. That's how I operate. I feel like sometimes my coaches ask me like, so what's your secret? What is it? I don't have one. Really, at the end of the day, what's gotten me to where I am is my consistency and my mindset, guys. I never think to myself, why isn't this working for me? I always think to myself, how can I make this work? When you approach things from that point of view, everything's going to work out. Because if I don't know how to do something, I'm going to ask somebody, I'm going to go on YouTube and I'm going to find a video that's going to show me how to do it. And then I'm going to go do it. Because I have too many people counting on me for me to be mediocre, for me to not give it my all, for me to stop now. You guys have all it takes. All it takes. If it doesn't work, it's on you.
Wow, that was great. You know, I was listening to You Are a Badass at Making Money right before this call. I hear so many people who say they don't have time to do personal development. I'm a big Tony Robbins fan, and he talks about net time. So Rebel is in the bathtub. I brought my laundry into the bedroom, which is adjoined to the bathroom, and I was folding laundry, listening to the book. I had to keep pausing it because he kept talking to me. And there was one time where I was really trying to listen to what she was saying. And I was like, Rebel, just wait a second. Like, he didn't die. I think so many people are scared to tell their kids, like, no, mom's working. But if your kid called you at work incessantly and you work for somebody, you wouldn't think twice about saying, don't call me, you're going to get me fired. But I found ways to, like, get all these things done. And like, if you are like, instead of being like, why can't I find time to do personal development, then you're never going to find it. But if you look like with that attitude that you said in closing, where can I find time? You'll find it. So many people focus on what they don't want or what they don't have, and those things just keep showing up and showing up and showing up. And, you know, one thing, my point about the book was, sorry, I got carried away, was the fact that she talked about that so many people want success. They want to get rich. They want to be, you know, a diamond. They want to be whatever it is, but they don't want to put in the work, and they don't want the consequences. They don't want to be judged. They don't want to be told no. They don't want to lose friends as they grow and their old friends stay the same. They don't want those things. So you have to pick, like, do you want the life that you're living now that you hate, or do you want the life that you want, and there's going to be some consequences that are uncomfortable? You just pick your mode of uncomfortable. I mean, that's really the same thing that we tell people in fitness. You know, hard is like staying covered up in 100-degree weather on the beach while your friends are out having fun, you know, and feeling confident. And hard is also, you know, busting your ass doing an insanity workout. You pick your hard. So, you know, I love what Audrey said, and that just tied into what I was saying, you know, or what I heard about personal development. It's just, you know, you pick. I mean, it's really, it all comes down to a decision of how you spend your time and what you do. And people just, you shit all over your own business, you know, making excuses, but you won't do it for your employer who doesn't care about you, who you're never going to make any money. You're never going to advance. You're never going to be appreciated the way that you'd be appreciated on this team, and that your team, potential team, is going to appreciate you. So does anyone have any questions? Audrey's story was absolutely amazing.
Thank you. I actually want to say something. Mindy, were you at the Entree Leadership Summit?
Yeah.
Okay. I listened to the Entree Leadership podcast, and John C. Maxwell's talk was amazing. They actually have an excerpt of it on the Entree Leadership podcast. I don't know if you guys have checked it out, but something that he says is that people continue to grow people stop growing at the point in which they no longer want to make sacrifices. So when the sacrifice is too big, that's when the trade-off stops and you stop growing. So that's an excellent, excellent listen, guys. If you have time, go check it out.
Anybody have anything to say? Questions, comments? Shout out to Audrey.
I do. Audrey, first of all, you're awesome. Girl, guys, she is like the sweetest, because I just happened to get in line behind her when we were like going to take pictures with Chris Downing in Punta Cana. And she was like getting herself all ready and like being so cute, and let this crazy girl just like talk to her the whole time that we were in.
That crazy girl's my crush.
I saw her in the hall and was like, ah! But then I couldn't remember your name, and I was like trying to tell Mindy, and I was like, oh, I don't know. Anyways, you're a doll. I think one thing that newer coaches especially, get really hung up on, that makes it a really hard transition to go from like coach to CEO, is how to do the invite. That piece, I think, makes people freeze up all the time. Can you explain how you went about it when you were getting started, before you had a big following and a big group of people?
Something that I always tell my new coaches is that you have to share the journey, because it's the journey that inspires people. It's definitely not the perfection. So I wasn't a coach when I signed up, and I started doing Chalene Extreme, and I was like, guys, I lost 5 pounds. I was sharing all that little stuff. So for me, like, you have to figure out what is it that you love the most about what coaching is doing for you, what this transformation is doing for you. And for me, it was getting my confidence back as a woman. Like, I remember I said to one of my friends, like, that I was probably going to live in mom jeans forever, and that was just going to be my wardrobe from now on. And then I found myself like, I can go shopping again for clothes for myself because I feel beautiful. And that confidence is what I wanted to shout to the rooftops and tell everybody. And because that's what I was leading with, I never thought of it as I have to sell people this challenge pack so that they can join my group. My message was, come feel confident again. It's possible for you. There's hope. So you need to find what that message is about your journey and constantly talk about it, because that's what's going to attract the people that need that. That's how you attract your tribe. That's your vibe that you're putting out, you know? So because that was my mindset, and not that I'm trying to sell somebody something, I was able to genuinely tell people, like, you need this right now so you can feel as happy as I do right now.
Thanks. I love that. I think that's amazing. So like once you had people that were interested and like your post or whatever, like what did you say to them? Like what words did you use? I think that is where so many people get stuck. Like, okay, I have this person who liked my post or commented on it, but now what?
To be honest with you, because I believe so much in our programs and Shakeology and the challenge group, because I used to do it all. I've had trainers, gym, all of it. Because I believe so much in it, I had no qualms about following up with anybody. So I would, I would hear, like, add people on Instagram, blah, 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 blah. I would do it religiously every single day. And I have this technique that I call flirting. So I tell my team, like, go find people like you on Instagram, like search hashtags, obviously, that have nothing to do with Beachbody, but like mom of two. I was breastfeeding back then. So I would like search for other breastfeeding moms. And then I would make sure I would like their pictures. I would comment. I would keep a list of who these people were and make it a point to always engage. So, like when you meet someone and you like them, you're flirting. Like you're not going to go straight up and ask them out on a date. You like, make eye contact, whatever. So do the same thing with these people. So that's what I would do, because I knew that if I was engaging with their stuff, they were going to come back and look at my stuff. And because I was so passionate about it, I knew they were going to ask me about what I was doing. So if they liked or whatever, then I would inbox them, hey, how are you? And I would just start a conversation. I am not the type of coach to ever say, I'm starting a group on, July 3rd. Do you want to join my challenge group? But I would just be like, how are you? How's everything? How's the baby? Because then I would take a quick look at their profile and see what they were about, what they did that day. Like I was actually messaging someone for my like page today, and I was in Dallas over the weekend meeting with some of my team, and I noticed someone's from Dallas. So I'm like, hey, thank you so much for the ad. Oh, you're from Dallas? I was just there this weekend. And then you get the conversation going like that.
I think that the biggest issue is that, in real life, we talk to people. I mean, and then I think that people get this, like, free, like, oh God, I'm a coach. And you overcomplicate things. And, I told my stepdaughter a long time ago, she's like, well, what do I do if people, say stuff? Because she became a coach right when she turned 18. I was like, if somebody likes something on your page, it's really like an invitation to conversate, because they're interacting with you. Like I told her, I'm like, if you were at the grocery store and some chick was like, I really like your shoes, would you just be like, I mean, you would comment back like, thanks, not that you had to be like, oh my God, I'm a coach and like, what's your blood type? But I mean, you can have a conversation simply saying thanks for the support, or just, hey, I saw that you liked my post, whatever it is. But I mean, that's an invitation to have a conversation. And like in real life, social media is like real life. I mean, it is. It's like people interact, doing it virtually. So, I mean, how would you talk to somebody in the grocery store if they said something? Would you react? I mean, if somebody said, well, I really like your results, would you just sit there and look at them like, oh crap, they noticed my results, And if that's an issue where you don't know what to say, there's books out there. And I see so many people that, are like, I can't do this, I can't do that. But then I just know that I've had to self-teach myself everything that I've done. Like, what I showed you guys at the beginning of the call about the challenge group, that was just me thinking, like, where have things gone wrong? What's the missing link from when I got started? And it was just a thought process of like reverse engineering things, but you have to put in the work. And I mean, you have to think about it, and you have to be willing to not only be coachable, but be independent enough to go to teach yourself something that you want to learn. I heard on, I don't know, I listened to like 5 or 6 books at a time, just kind of wherever my mind is. But it was Darren Hardy's The Entrepreneur, or the Entrepreneur Roller Coaster. And he said that something that really struck out to me was like that he, I don't know, there was a CEO that he was talking about that really didn't know anything. And he was just like, how did you ever get to this point? And, he was thinking this the whole time. And then he finally found a way to like intertwine it into the conversation. And that's kind of stuff that we do when we're having conversation with people, and then we bring up, challenge groups. But, he asked, like, how did you get in this situation? And the guy basically said that he self-taught himself certain things, but his goal was always to be the dumbest person in the room, because he wanted people on his team that were, that could figure things out. And I think that's a big issue too, is that we're not going after, people that are going to add to our team. We're taking on this huge responsibility that we're responsible of everybody else, but really it's a team effort. Like, that's the thing, is like, I don't want to be the one who's always taking the lead in my team, that's always got the ideas. I literally want to be the dumbest person too, where other people can help contribute to that. And that if there's something that I feel that that is hindering my business that somebody else can't complement, I'm going to go out and look for it. Like, people ask all the time, what personal development book should I read? Well, if you know what you're suffering from, you know what's holding you back, if you do that gut check, like Audrey said, and you can Google books for this. I mean, my husband and I, we have a lot of issues, lately. I'm not even going to lie. And we can't see eye to eye. He has ADHD. I have ADD. I flip things around. So you know what I did the other day? I Googled marriage problems with ADHD, and I found this book that this morning I listened to for 2 hours, and I got him to agree to listen to it because I told him about it, and it was something to fix ourselves. And so these things are like, I'm thankful to Beachbody because I have these resources, and that honestly, even though that personal development book is more about marriage, if my marriage is not on point, my whole business is not on point. I am not on point. And so these are the things that I'm super thankful for Beachbody. I've opened up my mind to personal development, and that every day I want to grow because of it, and that I don't give up on my marriage, and I'm trying to find ways to fix problems or things that I don't understand. And what I learned in the 2 hours of listening to that book was very insightful, and I don't know if it will fix all of our problems, but at least I have hope now, and that's really what we are, as hope dealers. So
well, I wanted to say too, like, the reason that I always jump on and ask questions of the callers, like every team call we have, I'm asking a question, because this is like practice of talking to people. And I really want to encourage everybody that is listening to these calls week after week, month after month, and not saying a word, open up your microphone and ask a question. The people that come to speak to us aren't here just to hear themselves talk. They're here to help us. And when we just sit here and go, okay, thank you. How do you think that makes this person feel that just gave an hour of her evening away from her family to our team and gave us all this knowledge and information? I think it's really important that we actually interact with her. Like, I didn't need to ask her that question. I have no problem inviting people, but I know that everybody on this call is like sitting here being quiet, holding things in their mouth because they're scared to reach out. They're scared to say something that might sound stupid. They're scared to ask a question that might seem silly. Like, we have to let go of that fear, because you're never going to get anywhere in this business if you let that fear hold you back. And here we are in a safe space where we're all coaches and we're a team together and we're here to help each other, and nobody is willing to open their mouth and ask a question or make a statement. How are you going to be able to do that with somebody that needs your help? So I know that's my call, but I just really had to say that.
You're awesome. That goes back a little bit to what you said before. I think one of the biggest things that kill our business is overthinking. So it's either we're not doing enough or we're overthinking. So don't overthink anything. And like, when you get the impulse to do something, just do it. If you guys haven't read it, the 5-second rule by Mel Robbins is excellent. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and spring into action. Whatever it is that you feel the need in your heart to go do, to go talk to that person, to go whatever, just do it. You don't need anybody's permission. You don't need anyone's approval. Just do it.
Well, I
love you guys. To me, like, that's a gut check moment where we have to be serious about, like, are you really serious about this business? If you can't even talk to your teammates, how are you going to talk to strangers?
Well, and what happened was, remember at Punta Cana, I gave Robin a wristband so that she could go get her picture taken with, I don't even remember who it was. I don't know. But I been to all these events. And so I was like, well, I don't need another picture with, this is something that I want her to be excited about and to show on social media. So I gave her the wristband, but I told her, I'm like, when you go, I challenge you to stand in line and talk to whoever that coach is. Because I said the same thing, which Robin just said with so much passion to all of you guys, was because I said, if you can't talk to coaches in line, nobody's going to know who you are, and you're never going to have confidence to talk to somebody else. And so I love that that's how they got united. And then like Robin's out here preaching it, because it is the truth. If you can't talk to a fellow coach, if you can't go to Super Saturday and like introduce yourself to a coach, somebody you know you have common ground with, then you're not going to do it in real life. So I challenge all of you to go out and start a conversation with somebody you've never talked to, even if it's somebody that's on your list that's have a birthday. I do it all the time. Like, hey, we've never connected on Messenger, but I see you on my news feed, but I just wanted to take a moment to wish you a happy birthday and see how you're doing. Like, are you celebrating? And I start a conversation that way, because that person was a stranger. So there's ways to do it, but I have that courage, insane courage, and just go out and do it. I mean, something easy. Send them a happy birthday thing. I mean, nobody says, oh, screw you, don't tell me happy birthday. They're like, oh, thank you.
How dare you?
Yeah.
And the thing is we are, like, a thing we learned from Tony Robbins is we are all alike, so much more alike than we are different. We are all nervous and scared. That person that you're like nervous to talk to is probably nervous to talk to somebody else, or even you too. So don't think that they somehow have the upper hand on you just because you're the one that's reaching out. Be vulnerable. Be the person that extends a comment, a happy statement to somebody, because that could be like the best thing that happened in their whole day or week or month or life. I know we have to let Audrey go, but I want to tell you guys that tomorrow morning I am speaking on a Zoom call for the Red Zone. What is it called, Mindy? The West Region Red Zone? I don't know. Mary V. Day from corporate asked me to speak. I'm going to be discussing the highlights of NorCal Elevated that I attended on Saturday in California that Melissa Gallimay put on, which was incredible. And I have a lot of pages of notes to talk about. So there was a lot of amazing information. And if you thought I was passionate right now, get ready. I'm going to be on fire because I'm energized in the morning.
Where are you speaking? Is it in a group? Is it in the...
On a Zoom call. There's a link in the Red Zone. I'll tag you in it. There's a link, and I will share it with as many people as I can. I'll put it in our team page. It's 10 a.m. Mountain Time tomorrow. And yeah,
please don't tag me because I won't see it because I have like 500 notifications I haven't gotten to yet. But will you post it?
I'll somehow let you know how to get it. I'll put it in the team page.
Yeah, post it in the team page.
It will be recorded. There's a lot of amazing information. I will let you know we had like Milan Jensen there, who is coach #1 of all of Beachbody, the very first coach of the entire network. So there was a lot of amazing information. Okay, that's all.
Robin, will you tag me in it?
Yeah,
Leah,
for sure.
So I can share it, because I love that. That was an amazing day.
It was amazing. Yeah, Leah was there. It was so incredible. The speakers were phenomenal. There were people I had never heard of before, people at different levels, and I heard different messages than I'd ever heard before. So it was awesome.
All right, guys. Thank you, Audrey, so much. I appreciate it.
Pleasure.
Everybody, I hope you're getting geared up for Summit. I'll tell you, this year I haven't bought any new clothes. I haven't got my hair done. I'm just coming as me, and I hope that, this is a stress-free, event for you. I just want to show up, hang out with the team, get my mind filled, my soul rocked, and then come home and then just do amazing, epic shit the last half of the year. So I hope that you guys have your mindset right and are going to show up strong and leave with great things. I will see you at Summit, Audrey. Thank you so much.
See you there. Bye, guys. Thank you.